We're going to talk specifically about the Kingman tragedy that happened in 1973, and also this being the 50th anniversary. So we're going to invite retired Fire Chief Mike Castle to come forward. I'm going to read his bio. It was 4 pages, just so you know I had to narrow this down. An Arizona native, Mike grew up in Kingman and attended the Northern Arizona University before serving in the U.S. Army. In 1973, he moved to the Valley of the Sun to pursue an education in the fire science and earned a fire science degree from Phoenix College and industrial training and supervision degree from Arizona State University. Mike joined the fire service in 1974 with Rural Metro Fire Department and advanced through the ranks to serve as Fire Chief of Operations in Maricopa County before moving to the same position in Knox County, Tennessee. After 21 years, he retired from Rural Metro and served as Fire Chief for the City of Cottonwood for the next 17 years until his second retirement in 2012. Mike graduated of the National Fire Academy's Executive Fire Officer Program, served 4 terms as President of the Verde Valley Fire Chiefs Association and 2 terms as the President of the Association of Firefighters of Arizona. He is a past President of the Arizona Fire Chiefs Association and currently serves as the Director of Alumni Section. Mike was instrumental in the establishment of the State Fire Service Mutual Aid Plan in 2002. He still serves on the AFCA Mutual Aid Committee and is an Executive Director of the Arizona State Fire Training Committee. Mike was inducted into the Arizona Fire Service Hall of Fame in 2011 and received the Arizona Fire Chiefs Association Lifetime Achievement Award in 2015. Mike has been happily married to Debbie for 50 years. Debbie taught middle school for 25 years before retiring with Mike in 2012. They have 2 sons, a delightful daughter-in-law, and grandsons. We give Mike the time to talk about the history of the Arizona Fire Service. I cut it down.
Thank you for the opportunity to share with you folks a little bit of the history of the fire school and the event that occurred in Kingman in 1973 that really was the impetus for us to start the fire school in 1974. Okay, let's get this on. It's hard for me to see the screen. It's already covered that, right? Okay. We're going to share with you a video that was presented up in Kingman July 7th in memory of the Kingman disaster. share this information with you folks to give you a little backdrop and share with you what occurred in Kingman 50 years ago. As a couple of the earlier speakers said, we shall never forget, and I recognize and realize that probably the majority of you people in attendance today weren't even born when this happened. But it's had a tremendous impact on the fire service in the state, and we learned a lot of lessons from it. And I want to share a little information about the city of Kingman and the fire department there. On July 5th, 1973, Kingman was a little rural community of about 7,000 people located in northwestern Arizona. Kingman was a very close-knit, self-contained, family-oriented community with recreational sports programs and Walpi Mountains just to the southeast of us and Lake Mojave just to the west of us. Kingman Fire Department at that time was a 33-member volunteer organization with 4 paid engineers. And most of the members had served on the fire department for over 20 years and dedicated to helping their friends and neighbors in their time of need. Kingman Fire Department members were close friends and family. They practiced weekly to learn and maintain firefighter skills and met monthly. They had family gatherings and dances and fundraisers, and the fire station was a common open house on Christmas. And it's really hard for me to talk about this, but we had fireworks and barbecues, and the 4th of July, the fire department always put on the fireworks, and we're all out there working together on July 4th, and had a get-together afterwards at the fire station. All the family members were there to share in the event. The members of the Kingman Fire Department were community leaders and had a big impact on the culture of the community. They owned community businesses, managed businesses, and were leaders among community, civic, and benevolent organizations. A utility company manager, high school principal, bakery distributor, public works director, owners of transportation and managers. They were members of the Elks, the Lions Clubs, the Rotaries, Chamber of Commerce, Bulldog Team Boosters, Little League coaches, highway patrolmen, search and rescue. And when that fire whistle blew, the pager sounded off, and they dropped what they were doing and responded to the calls. We used to watch as 4 people responded from our own neighborhood within blocks of each other to respond to the calls, and that was rather entertaining to see who was going to get to the intersections first. On July 4th, as I said, members of the department came together at the fairgrounds and put on the fireworks for the community. And after a hot day of work, firefighters and families had assembled again at the fire station to share all of their efforts together. July 5th was back to business as usual, and it was a very hot July afternoon. Temperatures hit 105 degrees. And at 1:57, the Kingman Fire Department was called out to a fire at the Doxel propane distribution plant on Hilltop. And what happened there was impacted the Kingman community and Kingman Fire Department in a way that will never be the same. The reason we're sharing this with you folks is because what happened in Kingman really was the impetus for us to have our first fire festival in 1974. And I'm going to move on now. First of all, I want to recognize your members of Kingman Fire Department that are here tonight, and I've also got 2 of my brothers, Bob Casson, who spent 30-something years on the Kingman Fire Department as a captain paramedic, and Tim Casson, who was the assistant principal and athletic director and baseball coach for Kingman High School for many, many years. And why don't you guys raise your hand or stand up, you people from Kingman Fire Department that are here. Thank you for your service. Anyway, enough said there. As earlier speaker said, we will never forget. Now I'm going to move on into the next part of the program, and that's sharing with you some of the history of the fire school. And this first picture was one of my early memories of the State Fire Training Committee. Every year they went up to Lake Powell to have their first meeting. Yeah, real productive, wasn't it? Right, Gary? The gentleman in the back is the owner of the boat, and he hosted this every year, and he's with us tonight. Gary Anderson, would you stand up and say hi? Time Gary was with the Sedona Oak Creek Fire Department and a long-standing member of the committee. And while we're at it, I would like to again recognize members of the committee, past members of the committee. Would you folks please stand up again? All you people that served on the committee over the years, please stand up. Thank you again for all that you did for so many years volunteering on the committee. And here's one of the more current pictures of our training committee that we wanted to share with you. And I want to give you a little short history of the Arizona Fire School. We're going to do a more in-depth program next year with a video history of the fire school, but we're going to give you a short review today. To understand the history of the fire school, we need to understand the history of the State Fire Marshal's office. Here is a picture of the former fire marshals, and Bob Ross was the fire marshal when we first put the fire school together, and you can see the rest of them there, culminating with Bob Barker was our last fire marshal, and currently serving is Cassie Peters. Are you here, Cassie?
Yes, I am.
He's the current fire marshal. The original enabling legislation for fire school occurred in 1972, allowing the fire marshal's office to conduct training for the fire service, establish fire codes, and conduct inspections. Fire marshal's office opened in August 24th of 1972. The first fire school was held at the Ramada Inn on East Van Buren and offered 13 classes. And when I was reviewing this to do the presentation, I recognized that was the first fire school I went to, 1974. So that just tells you how old I'm getting to be. Fire school moved to Scottsdale, then Tempe, and in 1988 moved to the City of Mesa Convention Center. And we have now been here for 35 years. Thank you very much, Mesa, for hosting us. That year we had 15 classes, with one of them being held at the Phoenix Training Academy. Here's a picture of the opening ceremonies in 1988, probably about 400 or 500 in attendance. Now we're up to 800 this year, thanks to the efforts of so many. We always We've always held an opening ceremony with general announcements and recognition and key personnel and keynote presentations. Memorial service for fallen firefighters started in 1987. Other awards and presentations started in 1994. Keynote presentations have spanned the entire gamut of topics. Chief Brunacini here would review incidents, give numerous presentations on tactics and customer service. We've had several governors make appearances at our opening ceremonies. All-time favorite was Governor Rose Moffett here with her famous beehive hairdo. The famous Fire School shirts, some examples of past t-shirt designs, and t-shirts have been a major fundraiser for the Fire School, helping us keep the cost down for our attendees. Evening entertainment has included steak fry at Topiary Castle for a number of years, taco busts, and later came the mini musters, car shows, expos, and of course the culmination with the raffle, which has raised, in past years, I think last year we raised nearly $20,000 net money that helps us put on the fire school and helps us with scholarships and keeping the cost down to you students. Very, very important to the community. Our charter year for the Hall of Fame inductions was 1988, and the charter members, we inducted 11 people into the Arizona Fire Service Hall of Fame. And we have since inducted 54 additional people who have given above and beyond to the Arizona Fire Service. And my congratulations to all of those who have given so much to the Arizona Fire Service. This is a great honor, and it recognizes the efforts that people have put in and made a difference in the Arizona Fire Service across the state. Currently, the plaques are on display at the Arizona Hall of Fame. Hopefully you folks can get over there Thursday and get a chance to see who's been recognized over the years. More details on the fire school history coming next year. Clay made sure that he's going to put on quite a show next year for us. Anyway, that's just a little bit of the history, and I appreciate the opportunity to be able to do a little presentation on that, and I want to thank all of you for being here. God bless you, and stay safe out there.
Thank you, Mike Casson. We appreciate him taking the time to put that together for us, to share those memories. And we thank those that have helped to guide fire service, the fire school where it is today. And what I was told was that the fire committee had began in '73, and that's why we're recognized in '73. And the stories I'm told are that there was a lot of conversation on exactly how fire school was going to look like, what the inception was, how it would actually go together. And unfortunately, as with the fire service, it typically takes some kind of a large event for us to actually make change. And so the catalyst for fire school was unfortunately the Kingman incident, and then those men and women that were part of that committee at that time were able to launch it and springboard, and here we are today. So thank you for the work that was done. Our next, this is always the highlight, is who's the keynote. The keynote this year, we have we call him, it's a question, okay, is it Chief Nixon? Is it Dr. Nixon? We also know him as Dr. Chief Nixon. So Kane Nixon is an up-and-coming thought leader who helps public and private industry leaders improve their work cultures by building employee resilience. Kane travels around the United States speaking about the ethics, leadership, and wellness. Kane is the Deputy Chief of Professional Standards, Health, Safety, and Wellness for the Arizona Fire and Medical Authority, AFMA. Kane has been in the fire service since 2001 and with AFMA since 2006. Kane is the nationally registered paramedic, health and safety officer, threat liaison officer, certified personal trainer, and behavioral change specialist. Kane is an adjunct faculty member with Northern Arizona University and the director of firefighter fitness and conditioning at Glendale Community College. Kane holds 3 associate degrees, a bachelor's degree in emergency management and public administration, a master's degree in educational psychology, and a doctorate in the educational leadership, all from Northern Arizona University. Kane has a passion for serving others and does so as the chair of the Scholars Panel of Science to the Station, aka the Science Alliance, and Community of Scientists. Healthcare and fire service professionals dedicated to providing critical information needed to improve the safety and health of firefighters and other first responders. Kane has extensive experience in not-for-profit and labor management, serving as the founder and president of North County Firefighters Charities for 5 years, and the Arizona State Director of Firefighter Cancer Support Network, and has held multiple labor officer roles with the IAFF Local 3573. Kane is currently an Arizona State advocate for the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation Everyone Goes Home program, a district representative for the Firefighters Cancer Support Network, and regularly volunteers at St. Mary's Food Bank. Kane's mission is to live a purpose-driven life that inspires and empowers others to reach their fullest potential. Through continuous learning, empathy, and compassion action, Kane serves to make a positive impact on the fire service and the world around him. Please welcome Dr. Chief Kane Nixon.
I apologize for that. We broke the internet, I think, pulling all that stuff together. Good morning. Are you guys awake? Say yes? All right. Can everybody see me okay? All right, you guys can give me as much light as you want. This wasn't maybe a good idea. We filled the room full of a bunch of jacked firefighter men and women and then pull out the smallest guy and put him on stage. So I'm a mover too, but I am so excited to be here today. This is truly an honor to be able to be the keynote, and no pressure. You put someone like Chief Bernasini on saying, oh, and he was a keynote. Good luck. That's great. But I have so much gratitude in my heart today to be able to be here. I have to say thank you to Chief Wood, Chief Tamarowski, the entire State Training Committee for everything that you do, and to the City of Mesa for your continued support. Fantastic that we have such a phenomenal sponsor in a location to hold this epic event. And thank you for coming here. This is a big deal. 50 years of State Fire School. That is so impressive. We can't look past that. We can't take that too lightly. 50 years of firefighters coming to one place to improve themselves, to learn, to teach, to mentor each other. 50 years, that's a legacy. And I can't help but notice how important it is that this is happening here. Our superintendent of the NFA said, we're unique. There's something special about Arizona's fire service. I started my career in Colorado and I moved to Arizona in 2006 to be a part of this. So I know the differences. Now with my background in leadership and education, I've been able to create a little bit of a speaking career, so I get to travel all over the country and not just help businesses, but fire departments and what they're doing. And it's, there's a lot of similarities that we see with firefighters, right? You go to other stations, other departments, and you see some similarities. But there's just something unique about this place and these firefighters, our fire service. It's a very special group of people. And really, that's these people in this room. So thank you for being you. When I originally started this process and submitted a proposal to speak here today, I was going to be talking about legacy, that 50 years, and after further conversations with Chief Wood and the E-Board, they said, Kim, can you talk about the culture, our fire service culture? We see a lot of things that are going on right now, and we're worried about our culture. And so with my background in my psychology and leadership background, absolutely, I dove right in. I typically don't talk about culture all that much, but this is a big deal. So, is our culture in the fire service under fire? Does our culture in the fire service need to change? So when I ask that question, I think a lot of people would say, no, our culture is great. But I think some people would say, yeah, there are some parts of our culture that do need to change. We do need to do something different. We do need to address issues. But I think it's hard to put a blanket statement about culture and say yes or no. Show me your hands. Do you think our culture needs to change in the fire service? And this is, you're not going to be judged or anything? Okay. I'm a very interactive, we're gonna do this. They told me I have 3 hours. Is that gonna work for you guys? No? Okay. We're gonna get this going. Okay. This is how I describe it or define culture, okay? I was told we might have some ladder guys in the room, so I'm gonna keep it very simple. We're gonna, they're in the back, shocker. I was a ladder guy for 4 years. I can make those jokes. And by the way, half of the ladder guys are offended right now. The other half are on TikTok looking at videos of vertical ventilation. So it's okay. All right, culture. I break it down 2 ways. We have traditions, and then we have behaviors. And this happens over time, okay? So it's not that you can have one behavior and that becomes part of the culture. You can't have one tradition and that become part of the culture. These things have to take time over a long period of time. So let's break this down. Some of our traditions here, State Fire School, definitely over time has become part of our traditions. What we do in the fire service, we do with honor. It's an honorable job. It's a calling. We take great pride in it. We wouldn't do it if we didn't take pride in it. There's this baked-in mentorship. That's what I love about the fire service too, is that when you are a part of it, there's a very clear path, right, of mobility, upward mobility, if you so choose. The only way that you learn the lessons that you need to learn in the fire service is from someone who's been there and done that, right? That's unique. There's a lot of other industries that you can just read a book, but not ours. Education's important, but it's not everything. Integrity. This is a pillar of who we are and what we do. We should do all things with integrity. Agree? Yes? All right. Courage over comfort. This is not a soundbite, but it does look good on Twitter. Courage over comfort. We do the hard stuff, right? We do a job that most people couldn't ever dream of doing. And we fight for the opportunity to get to it. We test and spend years and years of our lives practicing to get to it, right? Service over self. We get into this industry, right, the fire service, not for ourselves, but for everyone else. That's important because sometimes on your path or on some of our firefighters' paths, they seem to forget that. So, behaviors. Very simple. We could go way deeper than this, but we're just going to talk about positive and negative behaviors. And the emotional response that both of those evoke. With behavior, where do behaviors come from? Where does that start? Right here. Now, we're not talking about your family and your childhood. We're talking about you specifically, how you act, how you behave. It all starts with a thought. And this is a progression. Those thoughts become words. And as we're progressing through this cycle, those words become actions, both positive and negative. Those actions repeated over time become habits. Those habits become part of your character. That character becomes your legacy, how you will be remembered, what people say about you, what your existence is. And legacy really equals our culture. When we talk about 50 years of this place coming to Arizona's fire school, that took so much time. 50 years. I'm so glad that they just described the history, because now we know what started it, where it came from, right? Why we are here. And I wonder if back then, during that time, if they were worried about culture, if they were worried about staffing, if they were worried about our new tactics and strategies that are coming out. So, what if I told you everything bad in your life is your fault? What if I said that everything that's wrong with the fire service today is your fault? Now, let me say it this way. Let's say everything good, everything great in your life, everything you love and enjoy is because of you and because of who you are. And everything good about the fire service is because you're in it. Both are true. We have an opportunity to have an identity through this. When I said that, don't come at me later. When I said that to you, did you not feel an emotion? When I said that everything that's wrong or bad in your life is your fault, did you feel that? And then the opposite's true, right? When I said, hey, and everything great is because of who you are and what you do, did you feel that? There's two different emotions. You actually recall information. You go back to a place, you put yourself, you relive an experience. Negative, and you do not want to take ownership of that. And positive, where you accept it. Yes, that is because of me. And that's just human nature. But what it comes down to is, are you a victim or are you a victor? That emotion is control. Let me say that again. The emotion is a way to control the situation. Let me explain. When I said everything great is because of you, you took it, you owned it. Yes. When I said it's your fault, you went, no, it's not. It's so-and-so. I had no control over it. I couldn't do anything about it. But if that's the case, then you have zero control. And when we're talking about problems of culture, That is not the answer. You have to say it's my fault. You have to accept responsibility. We have to own this. I'm going to tell you a story of two firefighters. And you might know these two firefighters. So if they work for your fire department, please don't say anything. We don't want to out anybody today. These two firefighters, they started their career on the exact same day. They went to the same academy. They actually come from pretty similar backgrounds, family dynamic makeup. These two firefighters both do pretty well in the academy. You know, top 10%. They come out into their probationary period on the same day. And as they're going through their probation, their company officers start to see little things here and there. One firefighter, makes a mistake and owns it and does everything they can to not repeat it. And maybe even on a weekly basis that's happening. The other firefighter wants to know why these things keep happening to them. Month by month. Nah, that wasn't my fault. You didn't tell me how to do it the right way. I didn't know that. I was never shown that. That's not what I signed up for. Over and over, these patterns start to form. So, 3 years into their career, both firefighters have to take the paramedic test. How do you think that went? About 3 years later, both firefighters take the engineer's test. How do you think that went? 5 years later, captain's test. Where do you think they are in their careers? Do these firefighters work for your department? Do you know these firefighters? I do. I know them very well. It's up to us to address those opportunities. When we see a firefighter not meeting the expectation, we're a culture of support. We lift each other up. You have to take action in the moment and address the issue. You might tell me, yeah, but they do just enough to get by. But they're getting by. You might say, they only do the minimum. They only do the minimum. Then the minimum's too low. One thing that drives me crazy is that we talk about minimum company standards. We got to stop saying that. We got to just start saying fire company standards, right? Because when we are training, what is our target? Our time, right? The time for the event. But it's the minimum. You throw in your pack for 35 seconds, you get it in 34.89. Done. Right? That's become part of our habits. We have to take control and stop saying, there's nothing I can do about that. So when I say we have to act, that means we have to make a decision. How long does it take to make a decision? Now, I give ethics and leadership talks too, and I tell a lot of that group in leadership, when you're dealing with some low frequency, high risk situations, right, Gordon Graham, we need to slow down. We need to take time, evaluate. That's fine. But that's not what we're talking about here. Anybody? How long does it take to make a decision? 1 second. Actually less. The research shows that it's a fraction of a second, but I don't have a calculator. So we're going to round up. 1 second. 1 second. There's 86,400 seconds in a day. So you have 86,400 seconds, opportunities to decide, right? And when I say decide, I mean say this is off. This is out of alignment. This is not in line with our culture, our mission, vision, values. 86,400 opportunities to make a decision. How many of you have heard this? It's one of my favorite statements. If you permit it, you promote it. If whatever you're allowing to happen in your presence is the standard, right? Who's got kids? When my kids are 16 and 10, they're pretty dialed in nowadays, but back when they were younger, there would be times where one would do something and the other, and I'd look at my wife and go, "You gonna take that, or is that one mine?" But you have to address things. You have to jump in. You have to act when things are out of alignment. If you permit things to happen, and you know what I'm talking about right now. There's things that happen throughout the day that you go, I'm not going to deal with that one. New standard. Here's our standards. You have your current standard. You start the day out. You get these positive behaviors. You get a positive emotional response. We want credit for that. We'll take that. We'll own it. There's your new standard. Every single interaction matters. The same is true. You have a negative behavior that takes place. What do? That's not me. I couldn't do anything about that one. We have a new standard. We need to inject ourselves at the behavior point to take action. Agree? Am I right? We'll maintain our standards if we do. As long as we are injecting in the moment, we make that decision that takes 1 second. And sometimes it's, hey, no. Right? That's all that it takes sometimes. That's not what we do. That's not who we are. Very simple statements that check everybody. We can maintain our standards. That way we're only growing. And I know what you're saying right now. You're thinking, you're telling me in your head, you just don't get it. Hey, I got this one guy. Everybody's got that guy. Okay? We all do. Here's my question. What happened? When in their story, in their career, were people not jumping in, injecting, and acting, and saying, hey, let me help you? This is how we do it. Regardless of the attitude or response. That's what we do. Everybody has that guy. But right now you're saying, there's nothing I can do. You're giving away control. You're empowering the negative actions and behaviors. You get that? Yes? We're all still awake, right? The ladder guys are on TikTok. Now all the ladder guys are on TikTok. Find your people. You think you're on an island and you're not. This is the majority of our fire service people. We care about our culture. Am I right? We have to find our people. They're all around you. Everyone in this room is part of that culture. They have that integrity. They understand courage over comfort. They are here to serve over themselves. Maybe some of you have heard this too, but if you want to change the world, if we want to change the fire service, you have to start with yourself. That's not cliche. This is used all over the place as an example for change. But if you don't change, nothing's going to change. Am I right? If you change yourself, that slide got messed up. If you change yourself, you change your family. If you change your family, you'll change your home. You change your home, you'll change your neighborhood. You change your neighborhood, you'll change your whole community. And on and on and on. If you change yourself and what you do, you'll change your crew. Am I right? If you change your crew, you're going to change your battalion. You're going to have an impact on all of those other crews around you. And it might take time. It is difficult. We do the hard stuff. You change your battalion, you'll change your whole shift. We're competitive people, right? We play on the best team that there is, right? You're proud of where you work, what you do. You're not going to let those other people outperform you. We are going to continue to grow and progress upward. But it's got to start somewhere. You change that whole shift, you'll change your department. And then we'll see this progression in the entire fire service. But it has to start with you. You have to model that behavior that you want to see. It has to start with you. All right, I always try to leave an audience with a takeaway. So my takeaway for you guys is do it. 2 words, 4 letters. What I want you to use this is when you see misalignment, you know something's off. You guys know what I'm talking about? That feeling every day that something happens, maybe not every day, but frequently that happens, and you have a choice to decide or not. You need to do it. Am I right? This is the acronym that we're using. You have to decide. And then you have to organize your thoughts, your words, and your actions in the moment. You jump in with no plan, it's going to be messy. But you have to inject yourself. That might be physically, that might be verbally. It might just say, or might be you taking that person off to the side, but our culture, our entire culture is on the line. And when I talk about traditions and behaviors, people, we're talking about staffing. Staffing may be the result of a behavior. We need to communicate and model the behavior that we want. There are some fire departments where their biggest problem is staffing. And that's a big problem. But there's some departments across the nation, folks, that are dealing with some very deeply rooted cultural problems. Am I right? They have people behaving in downright disgusting ways, unacceptable ways. Not our people. Somewhere along the line, they were out of alignment with mission, vision, values, with our fire service, with our culture. And guess what didn't happen? So those thoughts, words, actions became habits. They evolved. Go ahead and get that. Okay, you guys are awake. Great. The thing with culture is we're in control. We're in control. We can do something about this. We can do something about staffing. We can do something about harassment. We can do something about hazing. We can do something about anything we need to do, but we have to do it. It requires us to inject and take action. So, does our culture need to change? I'm hearing some yeses. When we break it out of tradition, because some people get very offended when I have that conversation. When we have great traditions, but are some things so deeply rooted, poor behaviors now become part of the legacy and culture of the organization? Sure. Do something. Inject, act. Take action. 50 years. 50 years of this. This is so special. So significant. Firefighters coming to one place from all over the state. Almost every department represented. In some way or another, whether you're a student or an instructor, this is a big deal. 50 years of firefighters coming to one place to learn, to teach, to mentor, to sharpen your sword, to polish your skills, take into new science and new data, and improve. 50 years of continuous improvement. That's a legacy. And it's because of you. Why do we do it? This is one of my favorite sayings. It's not about me. I'm not here for me. You're not here for you. It's about us. It's about the we. But we have to take that to the next step, the next level. We exist for them. You might be here to learn a new skill, take a certification, but you're doing that. You're going to benefit your department. And because of that, you're going to benefit your whole community. It's not about me, it's about we, and we are here for them. Now you guys have to say this with me. It's not about me, it's about we, and we are here for them. It's a big part of our fire service. Now, I need you all to do me a favor and participate in this last piece. I'm going to close this out with one last message. If this is your first state fire school, stand up. If you've never been to state fire school before, go ahead and stand up. Take a look at these people. These people are here to take action. These people see something that needs to change. And they're here doing it. Now, I'm going to stay standing. This is a bigger deal. I'm going to show you who has your back. And what group, what special group you're a part of now. If this isn't your first fire school, if you've been an instructor, a teacher, a student, a supporter, a vendor, stand up. If you support State Fire School in any way, stand up. Take a look around. These are your people. These are your allies. This is the leadership of the Arizona Fire Service. This is the group of change agents that can take action to protect our culture. You're here now to take action. This year, this month, this week, Fire School Week. You're here, so you have to do it. Do it for the last 50 years, but more importantly, you have to do this for the next 50 years. And it's not going to be easy, but we have courage over comfort, and service over self. And you have to do it. I am Dr. Chief Kane Nixon. Thank you. Be safe, be fit, and be well. Thank you.
Doesn't that make you feel good? Man, that just made me feel good all over. Makes me proud to call Dr. K. Nixon a friend, a native of Arizona, and what a message that he just gave everybody. I don't care whether you're here as a firefighter, a family member, a supporter of the fire service. I hope there was a meaning in that message that you can take back to wherever it is that you came from and your organization. Okay, now we're gonna roll into awards. We have a number of awards today that we're gonna recognize. We've got Fire Investigator, we've got Arizona Fire Mechanics, the Public Educator of the Year, the Arizona Hall of Fame, and then we'll do the Firefighter of the Year. We'll start with, today, the Arizona Fire Investigator of the Year.
The Arizona chapter of the International Association of Arson Investigators provides training and certifications and professional development for investigators throughout our state. This year, David Ziering of the Gilbert Fire and Rescue Department is selected as the 2023 Fire Investigator of the Year. Mr. Ziering is recognized for his teamwork and professionalism in his work. The award is presented by past President Barbara Rice.
Formed in 1975, the Arizona Fire Service Mechanics Association is committed to safety through education and networking. The association is committed to simpler, safer, and easier to operate fire apparatus. Each year, the association honors a member for their outstanding contributions. This year, the Arizona Fire Mechanics Association honors Timber Mesa Fire District's Nolan Crandall as the Fire Mechanic of the Year. The Arizona Fire Service Mechanics Association presents the award to Mr. Crandall for excellence and exceptional dedication to the craft of emergency vehicle repair. Congratulations. The Arizona Fire and Burn Educators Association was formed in 1987 to establish educational resources and standardized training and certification for public educators. Each year, the Arizona Fire and Burn Educators Association recognizes the Fire and Life Safety Educator of the Year. Martha Tita Benter of the Casa Grande Fire Department is recognized as the 2022 Educator of the Year. Martha was selected for her commitment to going above and beyond in her efforts to improve the safety of her community. She provides year-round community risk reduction education, such as outreach at community events and through a public safety summer camp, which exposes youth to different aspects of public safety in addition to teaching them vital skills such as CPR. Please join us in congratulating Martha as AFPIA President Tanya Tanner presents the award. Highest honor from the Arizona State Fire Training Committee is induction into the Arizona Fire Service Hall of Fame. Established in 1998, the Hall of Fame recognizes individuals who have made significant positive contributions that bring credit to the fire service. Nominees are evaluated based on their years of service, committee contributions, state or national impact, educational impact, contributions to the community, legislative impact, or other areas that clearly demonstrate the individual's significant contribution to Arizona's fire service. This year's inductees' plaques will join previous honorees on display at the Hall of Fame Museum in Phoenix. Wickenburg Fire Chief Ed Tenorowski presents the honors to this year's recipients. Retired Fire Captain Brian Jeffries served the Mesa Fire Department for 30 years. In that time, he served 25 of those years in labor leadership for the Professional Firefighters of Arizona and the International Association of Firefighters. Brian is recognized for his leadership, which is widely credited to saving the public safety pension system. He was also instrumental in building strong relationships between labor and management organizations. Congratulations, Captain Jeffries.
Hello, Fire School. Good to see everybody. Riding a fire truck for 30 years was the thrill of my life, but serving all of you was the absolute honor of my life. This means the world to me. Thank you to the committee. I am just so deeply honored. Have a great fire school. Thanks, everybody, for being here.
Fire Chief Jim Morgan has served the Arizona Fire Service for 43 years. He currently serves as the Fire Chief of the Pine Top Fire District. Chief Morgan is recognized for his ongoing commitment as a trainer and mentor, along with his leadership and advocacy in community risk reduction. Congratulations, Chief Morgan.
Good morning, everybody. Normally I would try to do this impromptu, but I wanted to make this one a little special. It's an overwhelming honor to be standing up here before you to be recognized by my colleagues. Certainly I need to appreciate a lot of folks, and I'm going to take those 3 hours that Dr. Chief K. Nixon deferred to me to try and get through that this morning. First, I want to say thank you to the Arizona State Training Committee for reviewing the nomination and selecting me for such an honorable selection. Secondly, I need to really thank the men and women and my elected body for the Pine Top Fire District, because they've really allowed me to hone my craft as a fire chief. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my family, my wife Julie, my daughter Aubrey, my kids who are serving our country for the freedoms that we respect today, and then all of those folks that were a conduit over my career. As Chief Casson went through a little bit of the history of the Arizona Fire Service, the fire school, and Kingman's disaster, brought back a lot of memories. My Firefighter 1 certificate has Herbert Hoy's signature and Paul Saunders' signature on it. Mike Wolf, who retired from the city of Mesa, was one of my mentors in the Apache Junction Fire District, where I started my career back in 1976. We were one of the first hazmat folks as a result of the Kingman incident for Apache Junction. Got a lot of folks to appreciate, folks like Chief Harvey Miller. He was the first volunteer chief that I worked under in Apache Junction. Then Jim Guile, who took our agency from a combination to a professional organization, and then finished my career in Apache Junction under the tutelage of John Flynn, who's now the executive director for the Arizona Fire Districts Association. I have a heart of a teacher, so I'm going to try and do this with some instruction as well. Sometimes you're going to pay a price when you're doing this job. Maybe it's the price of being away from your family. Some of those stories are funny. Some of those stories create a memory that will last a lifetime. One of those stories was in Apache Junction, again with John Flynn. The Attorney General was threatening to jail Chief Flynn and myself for doing the right thing in our community. We were in the middle of a CON battle. Fortunately, we took a different path, created a partnership, but it planted a seed. Today, Superstition Fire and Medical, formerly Apache Junction Fire District, has that CON servicing the public, but you don't realize the implications of the seeds that you plant back then. My second career started in the city of Casa Grande, where I got to be their assistant chief for about 8 years, working for Chief Scott Miller. So I owe him a debt of gratitude, and Don Lauterbach, who was the labor group president at the time, that gave me the opportunity and a second chance to again further my career. I got the opportunity to help develop a lot of special operations there. I brought the TRT team, our wildland division, and again, hazmat. And today those programs flourish as I understand it today. And then finally, where I'm at today, currently finishing my 9th year with the Pine Top Fire District as their fire chief. Again, just wonderful opportunities to work with a bunch of men and women who are the epitome of excellence, who serve their community day in and day out. Again, a lot of this has to do with the folks that come into your life, and you might ask yourself, what is my purpose? And you don't understand it quite then. Don't ask why, just do it, follow your heart. Here's some folks that were very instrumental in my career. Dr. Septon, Dr. Walker, Dr. Gary Smith. They allowed me as an EMS coordinator in Apache Junction to push forward skills that would help paramedicine in our communities, such as 12 Lead. At the time, only the city of Glendale and Apache Junction were doing that. Now it's the standard of care. We also were involved in studies like the high-dose epinephrine study for cardiac arrest. Other events were things such as RSI, and many of the medics in this room know that that's a standard of care. Again, you don't understand the seeds that you're planting, the battles that you're fighting, but if they're meaningful and they make a change in people's life, they're worth doing and worth fighting for. Dr. Gamer, Dr. Gallagher, Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Wasserstrom, they were the folks that helped me become a paramedic that started my EMS career. The Phoenix Fire Department, Chief Brunacini, as you saw up here, was a very giving man. He let folks like Tom Sawyer come to our organization when we were a volunteer, getting into the combination organization, and start that training regiment that created the excellence in that organization. Folks like Steve Storman, who was my paramedic instructor, and a hell of a guy today. Cliff Jones, and Dr. Chuck Kime and Dr. Jeffrey Thomas, who helped me get through my master's program. And a couple of individuals along the way, Bill Lumberjacks, Chief Kane Nixon, are folks like Professor Carr, Dr. Chuck Pylon, and Laura Collins, who were a lot of the impressions that I had as I was taking on my bachelor's degree. And there's so many more. Arizona Fire Districts Association, Arizona Fire Chiefs Association, my local organization, the Northeastern Arizona Fire Chiefs Association. And while those are associations, what makes those groups work are everybody in this audience today. Thank you for being my conduit and allowing me to do the work and sharing that relationship. What an honor. Thank you.
Benny Ashley joined the Phoenix Fire Department in 1942 after his military service in the United States Navy in World War II. Benny retired at the rank of captain after a 32-year career. Captain Ashley served as president of Local 493 and was instrumental in the establishment of a state pension for firefighters. Additionally, he started the first Fill the Boot drive for muscular dystrophy in Arizona. Benny Ashley passed away this year on April 8, 2023 at the age of 105 years old. The Arizona State Fire Training Committee honors his memory and his service.
We had invited family to come forward. I don't know if they were able to make it or not. If any of Benny's family is here, we welcome you to come forward.
I'm not really prepared for saying anything today, but I would just like to thank everybody for this special honor. For my dad, hopefully he's watching down on us today. This means a lot to my family and myself. He was a great dad, and he loved the fire department. So thank you very much.
We'll now turn the time over to Dan Matlock.
With the United Firefighter to present the Firefighter of the Year Award.
Let's begin with a simple but profound idea of what it means to be strong. Strength isn't just about physical power. It's about possessing an unwavering resolve, a courage that defies odds, and a tenacity that fuels the human spirit. Strong people are more likely to be focused, determined, and have an acute awareness of situations. When these traits are predominant, there is an undeniable power that is created, and it increases the potential to survive in dangerous and unknown situations. So how on earth do firefighters keep going into such insanely tough situations over and over again? It all comes down to something pretty amazing: being really strong deep inside. I'm talking about having a heart that's tough, a mind that's unshakable, and a body that's seriously robust. Firefighting is not just about a job. It's more like a passion that's impossible to ignore, a devotion to serve others, the guts to face danger head on, to help people when they're in crazy danger. But let's get real. Nobody's born ready for this stuff. It takes some serious training. And it's also about the ability to remain focused on mental health, nutrition, and physical fitness. A strong heart enables a firefighter to show compassion and empathy for those in need, to work as a team and support each other, and to uphold the values and honor of public service. A strong body enables a firefighter to endure physical hardships, to perform demanding tasks, and to recover from injuries. A strong mind enables a firefighter to cope with the mental and emotional stress of the job, to make quick and effective decisions under pressure, and to learn from every experience to improve their skills. Prevention is always better than emergency response, regardless of the situation. Just like in everyday life, the wounds you can't see are most often the most difficult to cure. Being strong not only characterizes a firefighter, it serves them well. For 30 years, the winner of this award has not only been a hero, but also a role model. They all represent strength, and their stories help us to learn and improve. Remember, the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried. Over the decades, the purpose of the Firefighter of the Year Award has been to educate and elevate. The program recognizes an individual who executed their skills in an especially effective and inspiring manner. We recruit experienced professionals from the Arizona Fire Service to be our judges and make the annual selection from among inspiring nominations. They make their decisions without knowing any fire department affiliation, location, gender, or if a volunteer or career firefighter. This year, our judges were John Kemp, Dave Staub, Bob Badgett, Tom Shannon, and Dave Keene. And I'm happy to announce this year's recipient is firefighter Chris Gannon with the Salt River Fire Department. That is it. For firefighter Gannon, Friday, April 8th, 2022 began with the end of his shift. However, knowing the department was a little short-handed that day, Gannon decided to hold over and assist until coverage came in at noon. The call volume was low that morning, but the time still went by very fast. Chris had only 25 minutes remaining when an alarm came in for a reported motor vehicle accident. Gannon and the rest of the crew jumped into their ladder truck and sped off. While heading to the incident, the call was upgraded to a rescue. They were advised that a fire department vehicle was involved. As they got closer, Chris could see a large column of smoke. Gannon hopped off the truck, ready to go, and pulled the line. By then, there was heavy fire showing. He made a rapid attack and quickly knocked down the flames. After the smoke cleared, Chris was shocked to find the cab of the truck wasn't there. At the same time, Engineer Barker yelled out, "Hey, our two guys are over there," pointing about 50 yards away. They didn't know at the time, while responding to a pregnancy emergency, Rescue 294 was struck by a semi-truck loaded with gravel. The heavy impact was so severe that it detached the cab from the chassis and thrust it into the air like a loaded cork from a champagne bottle. Nobody initially noticed, would have had it even considered, that the cab would be separated and lying in the middle of the road. Chris signaled his captain, threw his hose line down, and ran for the driver's door. He could see both firefighters slump forward. The door was seized, and entry was impossible. Firefighter Gannon yelled for extrication tools and ran around to the passenger side in his attempt to gain access. That door was jammed too. All of a sudden, firefighter Tyler Packer, who was still buckled into the passenger seat, took a big agonal respiration. Gannon knew right then, if he didn't act quick, Packer wouldn't survive. He unbuckled him and tried to pull him through the window. But Packer's size 11 boots were stuck under the dash. Firefighter Gannon, along with other crew members, used the extrication tools to free Packer. Now acting as a paramedic, Gannon swooped in, bear hugged him out, laid him down, and got busy applying essential treatment. He struggled at first, not realizing he was still wearing his SCBA and structure gloves. There were distractions all around, but none greater than seeing another one of his brothers in the driver's seat, firefighter Brendan Bissay, being covered up. Chris credited his fellow firefighters for keeping him focused, to work rapidly, and to stabilize Packer. Then they got Tyler on a backboard and into the ambulance. Gannon jumped in, and they headed off to the hospital. Firefighter Bissay tragically lost his life that day. Packer was still alive, but in a coma. The situation was looking grimmer by the moment. You all know how quickly the focus at an accident can change when one of your own goes down, let alone two. But miraculously, the crew stayed strong. And after lots of prayers, outstanding medical staff, and the unwavering love, support from his family, friends, and firefighters, Tyler Packer not only survived, he's now back at work, once again helping to save the lives of other victims. He attributes his new lease on life to quick thinking and the professional care he received from Gannon. Despite the severity of the call, and that it was a friend and fellow firefighter that Chris was working on that day, he maintained his calm and provided exceptional care. Chris didn't become an accomplished firefighter and paramedic overnight. He developed his inner strength over time by having been a Marine, a dad, and even a cancer survivor. Chris has demonstrated over and over his strong mind, body, and heart. For these reasons and more, it is our pleasure to induct Firefighter Gannon as the 30th Annual Firefighter of the Year. Chris, now I would like to share a little bit about some of the fantastic prizes provided by United Fire and our wonderful co-sponsors. We are positive they are going to help fuel both your mind and your body. First off, we're going to dress you from head to toe. You're going to be comfortable, safe, and even look good, wearing the latest uniforms and PPE from First Tactical, Blauer, Hakes, Lion, and Carnes. We will fit you for pants, shirts, boots, the top of the line, red zone particulate barrier turnouts, and a personalized helmet. And since I know you are an all-around outdoorsman and hunter, you'll appreciate an all-weather jacket from WL Gore. Use your Streamlight flashlight to light the way and tackle any incipient fire with your very own high-capacity Ansel chrome-plated, cartridge-operated fire extinguisher. And to help you make your heart happy, we also have gifts that provide a well-deserved break from the stress of the job. An autographed Cardinals football should generate a smile, but watching a NASCAR race at Phoenix Raceway from the Alley Curve Suite and an Arizona Diamondbacks game in dugout box seats will be two pleasures sure to make your heart beat just a little faster, with this time in a good way. You can relax again when enjoying a couple of nights at the Hilton Phoenix Resort at the Peak and lounging by their luxury pool. And when you're ready to create some new hunting and fishing stories, head up to the White Mountains and stay at the Jim Click Automotive Team condo. Back down in the valley, you can experience a different green, playing a round of golf and carrying your clubs in a new firefighter-style bag, courtesy of the FIS. We also want to share the power with the Salt River Fire Department by providing a $500 United Fire gift certificate, and with a last big expression of gratitude from the sponsors, a check for $1,000. Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm not only very honored, but extremely humbled. April 8th, 2022 started like any other day. I held over for a few hours. Little did I know how much that day's events would impact my life. When I heard about my nomination, I thought to myself, I just did my job. When I later was informed that I was selected for this award, I again thought, I just did my job. A week ago, I was asked by a coworker how I felt about receiving this award. And again, I feel like I just did my job. I started seeing a pattern. I realized that I see it as going to work and doing my job. Others can see it as a lot more than that, maybe even making a difference sometimes. I wasn't the only person who responded to that call. Everyone else did their jobs as well. Several people had major roles that day, and this award could have gone to any one of them. We lost a firefighter that day, Brandon Bissay, whose ultimate sacrifice will be recognized next week in Colorado Springs. I am sure it's a pretty big deal for Tyler and his family that we all went to work that day and just did our jobs. Huge shout out to all of you here this week to improve your skill set and be able to do your job even better. Thank you again.
Remember, strength isn't just a trait, it's a mindset, a way of life. So I encourage you to embrace your own potential, fortify your hearts, sharpen your minds, and nurture your bodies. As you all carry on, United Fire will also stay strong and continue to honor your work and the legacy of all the firefighters of the years over the past 30 years. Let your stories inspire to confront your own challenges from a position of strength. Remember, life safety is serious work, and above all, stay healthy and safe. Thank you.